The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning here at 5 a.m. Good to have you with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher, and enjoyed yesterday. It was not too bad outside by any means, especially when we know what's coming around the bend.
And especially right now, the temperature outside is just absolutely picture perfect, but it's going to be something that we're going to really enjoy as we look at the forecast and not enjoy. Kevin Charette joining us with a look at our forecast and what we can expect for today. Right, Kev?
Well, it's getting a little interesting because we've been talking about heat wave number 3 and we haven't broken it yet. Yesterday, we hit 100 degrees at noon. I had to adjust the forecast because I thought we'd keep it in the 90s. If you remember on Sunrise, by noon, I had 101 and we hit 100. And today, we're going to be close again. Let's talk about watches and warnings here because we do have them in place. We have the excessive heat watch for the valley now and for our mountain communities until Monday at 9 p.m. And then we have the excessive heat warning out in the desert until Monday at 9 p.m. So definitely looking at the heat. Let's talk about our cars because this is very important as these temperatures really start to warm up here. And I want to really stress that when the outdoor temperature is at 90, we're going to hit that real early here the next several days. You can see how quick it warms up in our cars. In just 10 minutes, 109. In 20 minutes, 119. And your car in 60 minutes gets to about 133 degrees. So just make sure the kids are taken out, make sure the doors are locked so they can't get in, and let's keep our pets inside the home and not in the car. Let's take you outside right now, Bakersfield. We're currently at 77, a calm wind currently for us, and as we take a look at the hour by hour here, you can see 84 by 10 a.m. We talk about the lower 90s. There you go, 1 o'clock, and then 99 by 4. So it's going to be close today. As we take a look at the mountains, the sun slowly coming up, 64 degrees, that light wind out of the west at 7. Hour by hour here, 67 at 7 a.m. And then we'll look for some lower 90s throughout the afternoon by 4 o'clock, 89. The big warm-up is still on the way. We'll talk more about that coming up in a few minutes. Back over to you.
All right, Kev, thanks so much. We begin this morning with an hours-long standoff in South Bakersfield. Officials say it started shortly after 11 o'clock last night when they received calls about a man shooting a handgun while driving erratically on South Fairfax Road and Red Bank Road. KCSO says they eventually located the suspect inside a nearby home on Via Del Mar near Shirley Lane Elementary School. The large police presence has since left the area. No word yet on whether the suspect was taken into custody. We are working to bring you more details about this story, and we'll update you as soon as we learn more.
And now to a hazardous materials situation in southeast Bakersfield. It forced the evacuation of a local business. Firefighters were called to the Crystal Geyser facility on California Avenue just before 5 o'clock yesterday evening. Employees reported ammonia detector alarms going off inside the building and a strong odor.
Maintenance people identified that there was this odor of ammonia coming from one of the rooms. They shut the doors to isolate the leak, made sure everybody was out. There's no injuries to any of the employees.
Fire officials also evacuated a few surrounding homes just as a precaution.
Clinica Sierra Vista is now offering rapid COVID-19 testing and COVID-19 vaccinations. Call 833-278-4584 to make your appointment. But don't delay. Clinica Sierra Vista, putting patients first.
3 days after the 4th of July, the numbers are in. The county fire department announced one man was arrested for selling illegal fireworks and 40 people were cited for possession of illegal fireworks. The fire department says this year, nearly 2,400 calls were made to its emergency communications center. The data shows about 500 less calls were made this year compared to 2020. During the 4th of July weekend, the sheriff's office said it seized nearly 5,000 pounds of illegal fireworks. Bakersfield Fire Department says they received 741 calls to their fireworks hotline, but the emergency call center got more than 2,300 calls. Now, to put that in comparison, on June 4th, the ECC received about 1,000 less calls. BFD also responded to 15 structure fires on the 4th of July.
5:04 is your time now, and now to a graphic reminder of the dangers of illegal fireworks. This morning, a Bakersfield man is sharing his story after a mishap that could cause him to lose an eye. This is a picture of 21-year-old Efren Gonzalez, who suffered a devastating eye injury on July 4th. Gonzalez says his friend had fireworks, but when he lit one, rather than the fireworks shooting up in the air, it exploded in his face.
I was at a park and my friend told me to light up a firework, I volunteered and did it. And little that I knew that it popped right in my face. I don't know if it hit me because, like, I don't know, but I heard the explosion right after that. That's when my eyes started hurting.
Gonzalez has been being treated at UCLA Medical Center. His mother says the damage to his eye is so severe doctors may have to remove it. One Northeast Bakersfield family saw firsthand the damage illegal fireworks can cause, and they weren't even using them. Now their neighbors are asking for the public's help. A neighbor has set up a GoFundMe to help the Linithicum family recoup some of their losses after the home on Jowett Avenue went up in flames this 4th of July, sparked by what they believe to have been an illegal firework. The neighbor has set a goal of $2,000. For a link, just head to kget.com.
The smoke may have cleared, but for many local families, the search for pets who were spooked by fireworks continues this morning. Fireworks activity in Bakersfield increased steadily in the days leading up to the 4th of July holiday, but the unrelenting pyrotechnics the night of the 4th pushed many pets away from their homes in a panic, many of them ending up in animal shelters. And yesterday, the Bakersfield Animal Care Center was at max capacity, 41 dogs with another 9 en route.
Every year we fill to the brim with pets that are lost because they were terrified, scared, trying to get away from fireworks.
If your pet is missing, Julie Johnson says call the shelters and upload a photo to petcolove.org. We have a link to the website on our website, kget.com. Meantime, the Vet Project, a national nonprofit organization, is still in the area offering free veterinary care, food and supplies to the pets of homeless people. To get more information on the organization or learn how to donate money to much needed veterinary supplies, just head to elevetproject.org.
Now to current sober reality with the California Highway Patrol releasing results from its maximum enforcement period over the weekend. CHP says between Friday and Sunday night, they arrested 19 people for driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol. CHP says during the same time last year, 36 people were killed in crashes on California roads and 738 DUI arrests were made across the state. After pounding the Caribbean and the Florida Keys yesterday, Hurricane Elsa was downgraded to a tropical storm overnight. The storm is armed with 75 miles per hour winds as it now takes aim at the Gulf Coast of Florida. It's expected to reach land this morning. The latest from NBC's Dan Sheneman.
Elsa crashing into the Florida Keys, dumping 4 inches of rain before noon. The storm feeding on the warm waters near Florida.
If you look at how lopsided this storm is, anything to the east of the eye will have some storm impacts for sure.
Elsa expected to hit Florida's Gulf Coast, where residents waited in long lines for sandbags to protect homes and businesses from what could be a sizable storm surge.
Everybody's always concerned. You never know what it's going to do.
We're going to take on some water. That's just all there is to it.
Authorities urging residents in low-lying areas to find shelter.
We highly recommend that you do your evacuation before those winds arrive, so we can reduce the need for any emergency response during the storm.
A storm that will arrive soon. Dan Sheneman, NBC News.
Welcome back. Officials overseeing the search and rescue operation at the collapsed condo in Florida say they have detected no signs of life in the rubble after nearly 2 weeks of digging. The death toll last night climbed to 36, with more than 100 people still unaccounted for. More than 200 first responders from across the U.S. and world are involved in the search. President Joe Biden called Miami-Dade's mayor, once again pledging his continued support. Funerals for some of the victims are taking place now, including one yesterday for 2 sisters, ages 4 and 11, found in the rubble.
President Biden is back on the road today, pushing his family's plan. Today, he's focusing on education while encouraging Americans to get vaccinated. Tracy Potts has the latest from Washington.
Hi there, Maddie. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. This is the president's 3rd visit to the Midwest in a week. And while the White House says it's not political, the things he's talking about there today are mired in politics here.
When if you looked at the background, there's no reason why.
Back to the Midwest. Today, President Biden visits a suburban Chicago community college, making 2-year degrees free for every American as part of his family's plan.
No student, No student's education should depend on their zip code.
The family's plan, focusing on education, health, and childcare, is not tied to the infrastructure compromise. A group of nearly 6 Democrats and Republicans wants to keep it that way. They're endorsing the infrastructure bill.
If that's credibly paid for, as opposed to adding it to the debt, I think there's a way forward on that portion of it.
But House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she won't consider one without the other.
What we need to focus on is the benefits of what we're proposing to the American people, and not the cost.
The Biden administration's also keeping its eye on vaccination rates, now lagging among young adults under age 27. Their new push includes door-to-door outreach, getting more vaccine to doctors' offices, mobile clinics, and response teams to deal with the Delta variant. Health officials are concerned we could see a post-holiday surge in cases in about a week. And the CDC is investigating the case of a 13-year-old boy who died after taking his second dose. But the agency points out they have not determined if his death was caused by or connected to the vaccine or something else. I'm Tracy Potts, 17 News.
Congressman Kevin McCarthy joined us on 17 News at 5 yesterday for a congressional update to discuss several topics, including the coronavirus, here at home and around the globe. Kern County has the 10th lowest vaccination rate out of California's 58 counties, according to Kern Public Health. Congressman McCarthy says the opportunity to get vaccinated is still there, and he says it is the best thing to protect people's health. McCarthy also recently released an 8-point plan to take on China, in particular to determine how the coronavirus originated there.
600,000 Americans died. More than 3 million people died because China lied to the rest of the world over COVID. Take the sovereignty out and let those families sue China.
The congressman also discussed the nation's infrastructure plan. You can watch the full interview on our website, kget.com.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back. When you sit down at a restaurant, typically the first thing you get is a glass of water. But how often do you actually finish that glass before leaving? Matt Gephardt looks at how much water is being wasted at restaurants and how that's impacting the drought-stricken western U.S.
Here at the Tsunami Restaurant in Salt Lake City,
Whenever you're ready.
You'll find fresh seafood, you'll find a sushi bar, you'll find spacious seating. What you will not find here is a cool, crisp, refreshing glass of water poured for you the moment you sit down.
You can order water, but we don't serve it by default.
Operations manager Julie Hyatt says they used to pour out that customary glass of water whether or not patrons asked for it, but then an employee pointed out how much of that water was going untouched.
We took a look around and go, yeah, we are wasting a lot of water, so that's an easy fix.
Now, the Utah Restaurant Association estimates restaurants serve 2 million meals around the state daily. If an 8-ounce glass of water came with each of those meals automatically, that is 125,000 gallons of water each and every day. And that does not even include the water needed to clean a full or half glass of water for its next use or non-use.
So it saves time, saves glassware, saves room on the table so that you have room for your food, you have room for your phone because everybody has their phone out.
Hyatt admits that Tsunami's water on request policy met some resistance at first.
Even my parents texted me one day, they're like, we haven't even gotten our water yet. I said, did you ask for it?
But servers have not seen much backlash since. And if the drought should vanish tomorrow, Tsunami says they will stick to their policy.
Utah's been in droughts and not in droughts, but we're always a desert. So water conservation just makes sense. We've got to protect where our supply is coming from.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.